Hello and welcome back to the Distinct Timepieces YouTube channel. My name is Marco and today we will be looking at no other than this Tudor Black Bay GMT. It's the reference 79830RB. This is my favourite Tudor from their whole lineup of watches alongside the Tudor Black Bay Harrods. When I look at it on my wrist, it just looks right. The watch speaks to me. It reflects and absorbs light beautifully, giving off a very clean and proportioned aesthetic. It's just a very classy, understated timepiece. This watch was released back in 2018 at Baselworld as Tudor's first GMT watch. The GMT function on this watch allows you to tell the time in 3 different time zones, whilst the watch also provides 200 meters or 600 feet of water resistance and a 70-hour power reserve. It comes beautifully packaged in a sleek black box with premium textures. You'll notice how the bottom half of the box has a wooden texture, where the top half has a matte finish. Now, let's see what's inside. There's no hiding it. Aesthetically, the design of this watch is derived from sister company Rolex's GMT Master 2, which has been around since 1955. Directly comparing this watch to the vintage GMT Master 2, you'll notice similarities such as the blue and burgundy coloured aluminium bezel, the absence of crown guards, the riveting on the bracelet, and the distinct hour markers with an upside down triangle at 12 and batons at 6 and 9. Despite this watch's DNA being closely associated with Rolex, its design language is actually quite distinct, featuring all of the signature design cues of a Tudor such as the domed sapphire crystal, the hefty crown and the snowflake hands, which were initially introduced in 1969 to help scuba divers with legibility in low light conditions. There's a handful of collectors who seem to be enraged that the snowflake hands are featured on this Black Bay GMT, as technically it's not a diving watch, or they don't like the fact that the hour markers are not matching in shape with the snowflake hands. Each to their own. I think that this watch looks amazing and I think the snowflake hands complement it beautifully. What's for sure is you'll know you have a Tudor on your wrist. The fit and feel of this watch is quite particular. The case is made out of stainless steel with a polished and satin finish, making this a true hard-wearing tool watch. My attention is instantly drawn to the brushing on the lugs of this watch, which is exceptional. There's only one thing that bothers me about this watch though. The case is 15mm thick. That's almost 3mm thicker than its Rolex counterpart. To further put this into perspective, the Breitling Super Ocean 42 I reviewed has 500 meters of water resistance and still has a slimmer case at 13mm. My biggest issue with this is that it makes the watch very top heavy. The 41mm case wears beautifully on my 17-inch wrist, but the thickness of the case reduces its comfort and makes it feel less luxurious. The bezel rotates both clockwise and anti-clockwise with 48 notches. The click is quite satisfying and it feels solid. However, the ridges on the bezel are quite blunt, making it difficult to grip. The bezel isn't effortless to rotate like on a Rolex. You need to apply more pressure to get it to move. I feel the same way about the crown. Despite its hefty diameter, the ridges on it are also blunt, detracting from the luxury experience of unscrewing it. Which is disappointing because when you actually do unscrew the crown on the Tudor Black Bay GMT, it is a premium experience when you're setting the time. The clasp on this watch is also very average. I mean, it does do its job quite well, but I can't help comparing it to Rolex's clasp, which has a fixed securement latch with metal click balls and a spring-loaded catch system, as well as features for effortless fine-tuning. The Black Bay GMT's clasp has a relatively thin securement latch with white plastic click balls, which detracts from the premium feel. Just pulling on the clasp forces the latch to open, where this isn't possible on a Rolex clasp. Behind the clasp, the watch features a system for fine-tuning the bracelet length, but you need to get your tools out to make adjustments. This system is outdated compared to Tudor's T-Fit clasp, which allows for micro adjustments without tools. However, there is an upside to all of this. In terms of looks, Tudor didn't conceal the spring bars inside the clasp, to achieve an exterior aesthetic without holes, but rather left the holes visible, further adding to the vintage look of this timepiece. It genuinely looks quite cool. Another thing I like about the clasp is the discreet cutout in the shape of the Tudor logo when you open it. It's also quite an easy clasp to operate. Since it's not spring loaded, you don't have to get your nail under the top latch to get it open. You can grip it from the sides and voila! This is truly a satisfying timepiece to look at. The well thought out details accumulate to achieve a great vintage aesthetic in a modern case. Switch the lights off and the Tudor Black Bay GMT's glowing dial will bedazzle you. The lume on this watch is incredible and it is very legible. Due to the distinct shape of each hand on the dial, you'll still be able to use the GMT function in the dark and will be able to easily differentiate the two time zones. The bezel doesn't have any lume, making the third time zone redundant in the dark. What's fun about Tudor is that despite being the same company as Rolex, they go where Rolex wouldn't dare to tread. This watch is offered on different straps. Alongside the bracelet, you can purchase the NATO strap and a brown leather strap. I was very excited when I saw that Tudor was releasing what looked to be like a white dial variant of this model at Watches and Wonders this year. However, upon arriving to Switzerland and checking out the watch in person, it seemed to be an opaline dial, which is actually more of a shade of silver than it is white. I think it would have been amazing to have a flat white dial on this watch. At this moment in time, I prefer the black dial variant. The movement inside this watch is a COSC certified manufacturer caliber MT5652. It's a self-winding mechanical movement with a bidirectional rotor. This movement is actually quite beautiful, so it's a shame that Tudor covered it with a closed caseback. The MT in the reference means manufacture Tudor, signifying this is an in-house movement, meaning it is developed entirely by Tudor. Since it's COSC certified, the accuracy is guaranteed to -4 + 6 seconds per day. The 70-hour power reserve is very impressive and is superior to what is usually offered at this price range. One thing to note is that there have been reports of issues with the date wheel on early production models of this watch. The watch I have here today is 2 years old and I haven't had any problems so far. This watch comes with 5 years of manufacturer warranty, which is transferable, so it shouldn't be something to worry about. The movement also has a built-in silicone hairspring, offering excellent protection against magnetic fields. Setting the 3 time zones on this watch can be slightly confusing if you haven't done it before, but it's pretty simple. Be sure to subscribe to the Distinct Timepieces YouTube channel. I'll be posting a detailed instruction video of how to do this very shortly. The Black Bay GMT doesn't have it easy. It will always be compared to its big brother, the Rolex GMT Master 2, and there's no avoiding it. This is quite unfair since they are targeting different segments of the market at different price points. Looking at it from a standalone perspective, the Tudor Black Bay 58 is actually a great watch and is a great value proposition. The retail price of this watch on a bracelet is €3,860, 3,590 British pounds or 4,300 US dollars, and they are available pre-owned for even less. This watch is built to last whilst providing you with excellent performance. At this price point, you're really getting a lot for your money. This exact watch was actually £3,040 retail a couple of years ago, which is £550 less than the retail price today. With time, this watch is sure to retain its value and may even become a collectible classic. This watch is readily available and it's very easy to purchase, which is quite refreshing given the madness in the watch world in the past few years. It's nice to be able to try the watch on and purchase it right there and then. Many retailers actually offer this watch on interest-free finance. I remember my first economics lesson that money is worth more today than it will be tomorrow, so why not take your AD up on this offer? It's a great watch if you're just getting into the luxury watch game and want something that exudes class, sophistication and superior functionality without breaking the bank. This watch goes under the radar, but will definitely capture the attention of the educated. What's quite refreshing is that you get to enjoy the Rolex DNA without all of the show and the status that comes with a Rolex, which can be more negative than positive as of recently. Thinking about it, this watch is in its own lane. There aren't many watches on the market at the same price point with the same color combination and performance that pose as direct alternatives. Being Hans Wilsdorf's creation, the heritage aspect of the Tudor brand is also there. To conclude my thoughts about the Tudor Black Bay GMT, it's one of my favourite watches from the Tudor lineup, as I've already mentioned, and I love it. If you're looking to get the GMT Master 2 from Rolex and that's what you're aspiring to, this watch isn't going to scratch that itch. It's all in the details, and the Rolex outperforms this watch in every way, shape and form. However, this watch is more wearable, being quite discreet whilst accommodating for those who travel a lot and live an active, varied lifestyle. Due to the size of it, I'd recommend trying it on at a boutique before pulling the trigger. If you can pull it off and decide to go for this watch, I'm sure you won't regret it. It's very versatile and it's fit to be your companion for a lifetime. Let me know what you think of the Tudor Black Bay GMT in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Do you prefer the black or the opaline dial? And also let me know your strap preference. Would you go for a NATO strap, the leather strap, or would you rather have it on the bracelet? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.